In this video, I'll demonstrate how to calculate CurveFit parameters, create a plot data table and curve chart in Excel, as well as how to add your calibrator data points to the curve chart. In Excel, I have my calibrator X and Y data. The X data is to be displayed on the horizontal axis of the chart, typically the independent variable, and the Y data is the data to be displayed on the vertical axis, typically the dependent variable. Using this data, I'll calculate the 4PL CurveFit parameters. First, I'll select the starting cell for where I'd like my parameters to appear. I'll type equals MyCurveFit to display the available options. I'll select the 4PL CurveFit method, and then select the calibrator X and Y data. We could also update the settings related to orientation and whether or not the coefficient names and goodness measures appear, but I'll leave these settings to the default. Pressing Enter displays the parameters, goodness measures, and their headers. Now let's create our curve chart. The general charting functions in Excel provide simple regression analysis. However, to plot a more complex curve fit such as 4PL, we'll need to first create a plot data table to be used as the curve fit line. To create a plot data table, I'll first review the range of the calibrator X values. My values range from 1 to 5, so I'd like my curve to follow that same range. To ensure an accurate curve fit line, I'll need to configure the X values for my plot data table to be in suitably small increments. For this example, increments of 0.1 will suffice. So I'll start my X column with 1 and enter 0.1 increments all the way to 5. Now for the Y values, I'd like to use the curve fit parameters we calculated earlier in the 4PL equation solved for Y to calculate these values. The 4PL curve fit equation we'll be using is here, but to simplify the process of configuring this formula, the MyCurveFit Excel Add-In offers this as a pre-configured option. So I'll enter equals and again begin typing MyCurveFit and select the 4PL CalcY option. This formula will calculate the Y values for the selected X values using the 4PL equation and our calculated parameters. So first, I'll select the calculated parameters, A, B, C, and D. To fix these as an absolute reference to be used in all subsequent cells, for example, when we drag the formula down to populate the rest of our plot data table, I'll press F4 to add these dollar signs to the cell selection. I'll enter a comma, and then select the first X value, in this case, 1. Notice this cell should not be denoted as an absolute reference, as it will be updated for each new X value. Now I'll press Enter, and the calculated Y value appears. Hovering over the bottom right-hand corner, I can drag this formula down to our last X value. If we select one of the cells containing our formula we've just entered, you can see the parameter selection has remained static, while the X value has been updated as we move down the table. Next, I'll create a scatter chart using the plot data table values. I'll highlight the X and Y values, and under the Insert ribbon, I'll select the scatter plot. Now we can see the shape of our curve, and it's the expected sigmoidal shape. However, I would like to format this as a curve fit line. So I'll right-click the data series and select to Format Data Series. In this menu that appears on the right-hand side of the screen, I'll select the paint bucket icon. For the marker, I'll select None, and for the line, I'll select Automatic and check the Smooth Line checkbox. Now we have our curve fit line. However, I'd also like to include my calibrators on this chart. Right-clicking in the chart area, I'll select Select Data. I'll click Add to add another series. We can name this series Calibrators, and I'll select the calibrator X and Y values. I'll press OK, and while we're here, let's rename the first series 4PL by clicking Series 1, selecting Edit, and adding the series name 4PL. I'll press OK, And here I'll select our new Calibrator data series by right-clicking and again selecting Format Data Series. Clicking on the paint bucket icon, I'll select No Line and add Automatic Markers. From here you can add further formatting to customize your chart. For example, I'll change the color of my markers from orange to red. We can also remove the chart title and add a legend. So now we've fit a 4PL curve to our calibrator data and plotted it on our chart within Excel. You'll also notice that as the calibrator values are updated, the parameters are also updated, as well as the plot data table. So this chart is automatically updated as the calibrator data is changed. If you have any questions about how to chart your calibrator data in Excel, please email us at support@myassays.com.